Let's now begin with some conversions. Convert 78 inches to feet. To do this conversion, we have to know that there are 12 inches in 1 foot. We're going to begin by setting up 78 inches divided by 1. We're going to multiply times a fraction where we're going to use this conversion. Since we have inches in the numerator, we're going to use inches in the denominator to get our unit to cancel out. We're going to have feet in the numerator. And now we just want to put our equivalents so that this fraction equals 1. So we know that there are 12 inches in 1 foot. Therefore, what occurs is that our unit ends up canceling out. That means we're going to be in feet when we get our solution. We'll have 78 divided by 12. And now we're just going to evaluate that, and that's equal to 6.5. So our answer would be 6.5 feet. Let's convert 17,160 feet to miles. We need to know that there are 5,280 feet in 1 mile. Using that, we take our given value of 17,160 feet, place it in a fraction over 1. We're going to multiply times a fraction equivalent to 1, where we have our numerator in miles and our denominator in feet. And now, to make it equal 1, we have to have 5,280 feet in 1 mile. We're going to then see the unit of feet canceling out. We're going to take 17,160 divide by 5,280. That answer, on a calculator you can check, is equal to 3.25 miles. Next, we want to convert 3 inches into yards. We need to know that there are 36 inches in 1 yard. And so we're going to start with our 3 inches over 1. We're going to be multiplying times a fraction where we want our unit of inches to cancel out. We want to introduce the unit of yards. We know that there are 36 inches in 1 yard, and so the inches will cancel. We have 3 over 36, which can be reduced to 1/12, and our unit is yards. So 1/12 yard. Now let's do some conversions in the metric system. Part A, we want to convert 8,000 meters to kilometers. To do conversions in the metric system, we're going to use the following setup. We're going to write down our units, km. Next to that, we'll have hm, then dam, then m, then dm, then cm, and then mm. These stand for kilometers, hectometers, decameters, meters, decimeters, centimeters, and millimeters. To convert from meters to kilometers, we're going to note that if we move from m, we're going to have to move back 1, 2, 3 places. That tells us to take our decimal point in our 8,000 in its present position and move it 3 places, 1, 2, 3, and that's going to give us 8 kilometers. Next, let's convert 53 meters to millimeters. We're going to need the tail end of our chart. That's going to be the m, dm, cm, and mm. We're going to be going from meters to millimeters. So we're going to go to the right 1, 2, 3 units. That's going to require us now to take our decimal point, which presently is after the 3, and move it 1, 2, 3 units, add our zeros, and we can then say that we have 53,000 millimeters. Convert 8,000 centimeters to hectometers. We're going to have our km, hm, dam, m, dm, cm, well, we can go ahead and add in the mm, and we're going to be going from centimeters to hectometers, so we're going to be moving 1, 2, 3, 4 spaces to the left. We take our decimal point, which at present is after the 0. We're going to move 1, 2, 3, 4 spaces to the left, and our answer will be 8/10 hectometer. And now we want to convert 8,000 decameters to centimeters. Again, we can start with the part of the chart that's needed. We have the DAM, the M, the DM, and the CM. We want to go from decameters to centimeters, so we'll go 1, 2, 3 spaces to the right. That requires us to take our decimal point, which at present is after the 0, and we're going to have 8,000, and then we're going to add 1, 2, 3 zeros, and we'll end up then writing down 8 million centimeters. Now let's look at some conversions between the English system and the metric system. We want to start off by converting 8,000 feet to centimeters. To do this conversion, we need to know that in 1 foot, we have 30.48 centimeters. We now start with our 8,000 feet, put it in a fraction over 1. We're going to multiply that times a fraction, which is equivalent to 1, which uses this conversion unit. We're going to put the feet in the denominator, the centimeters in the numerator. That can be then written as 30.48 centimeters in 1 foot. Notice that our unit for feet will cancel out, and we'll multiply 8,000 times 30.48. Our result is 243,840, and that would be centimeters. In part B, we want to convert 20 meters to yards. We need to know that 1 yard is approximately equal to 9/10 meter. We're going to use that in order to do the conversion. We'll start off with our 20 meters over 1. We're going to multiply that times a fraction, where we want the meter unit to be in the denominator, the unit for yards to be in the numerator. We'll put in our numbers, 1 yard and 9/10 meter. Now, in order to evaluate this, notice that the meters will cancel. Our result will be in yards, and we'll take 20 and divide by 9/10, and this is going to be approximately equal to 22 yards. Next, we want to convert 30 meters to inches. We're going to use the fact that there are going to be 1 inch for 2.54 centimeters. Now notice that we're going from meters to inches, but we're going to go through centimeters in order to accomplish that. We also know that there are 100 centimeters for 1 meter. So we're going to begin with our 30 meters over 1. We're going to be multiplying that first. Let's go ahead and convert that into centimeters. We know that for 1 meter, we have 100 centimeters. Now notice that our unit for meters would cancel, and we'd end up with a unit for centimeters. Next, we're going to use the first conversion, where we're going to eliminate the unit for centimeters and introduce the unit for inches. We know that for 1 inch, we have 2.54 centimeters. Now let's look at our units. The meters will cancel, the centimeters will cancel, and we'll end up with inches for our result. And in order to find our value, we would multiply 30 times 100 and then divide by 2.54. That's going to give us an approximate value of 1,181. And so our 30 meters would end up being 1,181 inches. Now let's look at using conversions in an application. A road in Europe has a speed limit of 60 kilometers per hour. How many miles per hour is this? We're going to begin with the 60 kilometers per hour and write it in a fraction. In order to convert to miles per hour, we need to know that for 1 mile, we're looking at approximately 1.6 kilometers. We'll use this by multiplying to eliminate our unit of kilometers and introduce our unit for miles. We'll have 1 mile for 1.6 kilometers. Now notice that what's going to occur is that the kilometer unit is going to cancel out. We're going to be left with the 60 divided by 1.6. In the numerator, we'll still have our miles. In our denominator, we're still going to have our hours. And so we're going to evaluate 60 divided by 1.6. This is approximately 37 0.5, and we can interpret this then as 37.5 miles per hour.